Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Really quick before 100 people jump on,
Yeah.
I tried to put in my info, and I had to request access from you.
I thought I fixed that, but go ahead and send me the request for access and I'll...
I did. Do you want me to send it again?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Morning. How are you guys? Missed you.
How was your birthday?
It was nice. The big road now.
I know. That was a tough one for me.
Halfway done.
Turning 40. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was a miserable time for me.
It's kind of a unique time to turn 40. I was quarantined.
Oh, I got it now.
And holiday. And
I know. Passover. Yes. Yeah. I was talking to Heather about, she makes these zucchini latkes.
Oh, nice.
I told her to send me the recipe. I grew up in a Jewish community, so all of my friends are celebrating Passover right now.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Where was that?
Framingham.
Where is that? New Jersey?
In Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
From Boston.
Okay. Right. All right. Hey, everybody. Okay, who read my email last night?
I did briefly.
I read it.
Cool. Anything in there that I missed or that?
Oh no, I read the text. I didn't read your email.
Oh wait.
You sent an email?
Oh, just kidding. I didn't read this.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't read that. I read your text.
Right.
I saw the one that said we had you were the schedule. That's what I read.
Yeah.
Okay. I sent out a email. This is, I believe, the third or fourth time I've done it. Just to on Sunday, just to kind of let you know a summary of the previous week, some things you ought to be thinking about, some ideas, and some assignments for the upcoming week. Is that helpful?
It will be when I read it.
Okay, good. I want to, because it does
Can
take
I give you the other email?
make sure you guys are using it properly.
Yeah, can I send it to the KW email? I can't find it in the other one.
No, I sent it to the non-KW.
Okay.
Yeah, what'd you say? No. Get out of here. Okay, I want to go over a handful of things today. You want to say hi?
Hi. How are you?
Okay.
That's good.
Okay. I reminded you guys about Shift Tactic 6. Did you guys get any time to spend on Shift Tactic 6?
No, sir.
I'm still trying to find your email.
Yes, I finished 6.
Okay. Let's discuss it tomorrow.
Okay.
And give everyone a little bit more time. Kim, do you want to inspire us with a thought or two that you've learned so far?
Okay. Wait, there was one good one that at the end when let's see, I highlighted. When he talks about, a lot of this was talking about marketing in your website and how to use your website. And
Right.
so I actually thought, for me, the biggest nugget was at the end when he said, your website should show as one big open house. I thought that was good.
Yeah, I think, this was clearly written at a time 10 years ago. However, some of the ideas are timeless, because the idea is that once they're in your web, so to speak, you want them to stay there, right? So you don't want to put a bunch of links that are outside of the web, because then they'll get distracted, they'll be off your website. So the idea is to give them what they want when they're there.
Right.
And that is the stickiness, and they use these concepts when they were building out the consumer app. and our websites that mesh together, because people want to search by neighborhoods. All they want is the to search anyway, right? They don't need to they're not like going online to look at your resume or something like that, right? Or what designations you have.
Yes. He says capture, connect, close, and cultivate, which I guess your website's supposed to do all of that. But you are right. A lot of the chapter, I felt like it was so old and outdated, a lot of the information, because I don't think a lot of people go to your website looking for information that much anymore. I don't know.
No, I think you're right. I definitely think you're right. The idea is are you giving them, if they come onto your website from some other medium, right, from a flyer or from your sign when you had your web address or your email signature where you have your web address, if they go there, do they find does it have the information they're seeking, right? Can they do home searches? Can they save their searches? That kind of stuff. I like a quote on page 131. Simply put, the goal of your website is to offer consumers what they want, real estate information, in exchange for what you want, their contact information. Right? Okay, so let's finish up chapter 6 or tactic 6 before tomorrow, and we'll spend a couple minutes on the call tomorrow going through that. All right, so I was away for last week. Tell me a little bit about how your days went. Who wants to start?
Well, I wrote a really nice contract on Saturday for my client, and I tried to make it rock solid so that they would get chosen. They went like $12,000 above listing price, and some team from Keller Williams Atlanta Premier
Perimeter?
are so hard to talk to, like get in touch with and communicate with. And then finally I called them and I'm like, hey, like, what's the deal? My clients put in this offer and our, answer by time has expired. And they were like, sorry, we went with someone else. So that was uber frustrating. Like, this is the third contract I've written for these clients. And the first two, they keep lowballing. So this time they finally listened to me, and they still lost. And I am personally upset about this one, and I need to not take it personal.
Well, let's do a little, can we do a tiny bit of personal coaching?
Yes, please.
Publicly?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you advise your client on exactly what you thought that you should do?
Yes.
And did they do it?
Yes.
And did you write a rock solid offer that was, in normal circumstances, would have easily been accepted?
Yeah, absolutely.
And did you attempt to follow back up with them to make sure that everything was done as it should have been done?
2 to 3 times.
Okay. You did your best.
I did.
And everything that you had control over, you nailed.
And Pam helped me on Saturday, and she was like, don't do a normal, due diligence. You be so rock solid. Do a request for repairs instead. Point that out to them. I had never even heard of a request for repairs. She was like, point out, so Pam took the time to explain it to me. And then she was like, make sure you point that out to them. I did everything I could have. And these, so mad.
So the end thing, the takeaway here is that you nailed what you had control over.
Mm-hmm.
And when you send it out into the universe and other people get to react to it and do whatever they're going to do, you don't have any control over that.
True.
And so you can't take it personally. And I'll tell you, there is probably a good chance, because my suspicion is you intend to be in this business for a while.
Mm-hmm. Excuse
me. And I would suspect that team's going to be in business for a while. You probably will cross paths again.
Mm-hmm.
So as hard as it is, take a deep breath and take another deep breath and move on, because I have chosen to call back up another agent before and apologize because I was an asshole the first time.
Right. Well, and I try not to be that. I did email them and I asked them, I was like, can you tell me why, my client's offer was overlooked? They didn't even respond. And this has been like, since I was trying to set the appointment up, I had to text them and then call them and be like, hi, I requested a showing time like 3 hours ago. I guess, and I'll be really frank, we will all deal with shitty agents, and I deal with tons of shitty agents all the time. Like, my spouse is like, do these people even work? And I'm like, one of us has to, so I don't care about getting a deal closed.
Yeah.
It really ruffles my feathers when it's another Keller Williams agent who is poor in behavior. It really pisses me off because I know they're trained better.
Heather, that's absolutely true. Is that, you can expect that from all these fly by night, $50 a month
Right.
people, but when they're Keller Williams agents and they behave that way, it's very disheartening. But, as Bill will tell you, do you want the money or not? You have to get over it and move on. And it's the hardest thing I have to do for myself is say, take a deep breath and just move on, because I want to close this deal. And, that's the bottom line here is you just want to close the deal. And trust me, it's hard. And I had some really tough deals over the last 2 years. And,
Right.
I would always say, if I wanted a kick in the butt, I'd call Bill. If I wanted a hug, I called Susan, because, sometimes you just have to do it. You have to just choke it down. I mean, I had a guy that was listed for 2 years. We got to the table on that morning, and he didn't pay his taxes, and he refused to close.
Oh my.
It was an $800,000 deal. So, you just took it down and move on.
So that's a bit of a different concept. That's like when you get the deal and like you got to make a concession along the way or at the end, right? And sometimes that, and the reason why you probably brought that up is because also that was out of your control. So once people do whatever they're going to do, you have to evaluate the situation and say, well, what do I have control over and what do I not have control over? And there are going to be times, like I've kind of said jokingly, but I as crazy as it sounds, I really mean it. Like, if you don't think about leaving this business once or twice a month, you're not talking to enough people.
I just said that to maybe Sadia the other day. No, I don't know if it was her, but I just said it to someone.
Right. It's frustrating because the thing is you have the highest level of integrity, you have the highest level of organization, you have the highest level of passion, and then you get into a relationship with somebody who doesn't. Yeah. And that's challenging because we want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt that they should be representing their clients best, and they should be responding to emails and text very quickly, and they shouldn't do anything underhanded, and they should just be a pleasure to work with. And
also, where I come from, like, everybody hustles their asses off. Like, it's hard for me. So I just have it like integrated in my body. Like, you hustle and you work, and your work ethic is so severe. And then I don't get that reciprocated. And I think I just need to accept that, like, it's just not going to get reciprocated. And people down here, no offense, they are just a lot slower than people.
Are you ready to do that publicly right now?
What?
Just accept it. Accept it now.
I have to. I think I took it harder than my client did. He was like, it's okay. You tried your best. And I'm like, I'm really upset.
I mean, there's like, whenever I'm on like this deal that I'm doing with my sale, I'm being a nice guy. I'm being a cooperative seller. I'm returning phone calls quickly. I'm doing what I think should be done. And this other agent is like blown away by the how easy of a transaction it is. That's the impression you want to give everyone else. You want it to be a pleasure to work with you. And I've mentioned here before, like, I've got a handful of agents across the city that if they're on the other side of the deal, first of all, I know for a fact I'm going to be the one on the deal, right? There's agents where I can call up, let's say they have a listing, and I call them up and say, my buyer wants it. They're like, cool, we'll clear the deck for you. What do you want? Or I'll say, hey, what's it going to take? And they'll tell me exactly what it will take, because we know that if we get a chance to work together, it's going to be a done deal. You know how nice that is?
Yeah.
if every time I called somebody, they're like, oh, that Bill from Keller Williams, he's such an asshole. He never does anything right, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be very challenging to work with buyers and sellers in this world. Right? Okay. Talk to me about the 20 contacts. How is that going?
This is my week.
This is your week. So are we making progress? 20 is the target, but if one day we do 4, or we getting to 5 the next day, are we making progress?
Very slow.
Okay.
I did my 20 on Friday, so I did get a buyer from my past client list. So I'm going to look at some properties for them tomorrow.
Nice.
That was good.
Wait. Let me make sure I understood that correctly.
I know.
You commit making 20 phone calls a day. You do it. And the first day you do it, you get a buyer who wants
Go
to
figure
get
that.
right away.
Yeah, he's I had helped him sell. Actually, I lost the listing to a Keller Williams agent a while ago. It was me and them. Come to find out, he said, if I ever need a house, I'll look you up. And I said, yeah, you know how that goes. And so I was like, well, let me make my 20. I made my 20. He's like, oh, I was just thinking about you. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, I need a house within 3 months. Actually, if you can do it a little sooner, that would be better. So I was like, of course I can.
Oh my gosh.
So I sent him properties over the weekend to pick out the ones that he wanted to see. And I said, I'll go look at them and we'll do a video. So, he said, yeah, I'm ready to go. I got him hooked up. I couldn't remember the loan officer person that we worked with. So I hooked him up with the person that I've worked with before. So they got him a pre-approval and everything. So we're good to go.
Beautiful. I think that is so interesting that when you make the calls, you actually
Go figure that. Me and Heather were talking about making calls this weekend, because one of the things I'm most concerned with is I'm used to being on the phone between 8 and 10, and then we have all these meetings. And so I'm feeling like I got to figure out how to do this, because this is my time to, where I'm making calls so I can get listings, because I'm used to listing. And when I saw the agenda that we're going to be on calls from 9:30 to 10:45, I was like, great.
We're gonna do that today.
Yeah.
Guys, if you make the calls, you get results. It's that simple.
Yeah, people are still wanting to talk to you, too.
Right.
I talked to quite a few people over the weekend.
All right, Alicia, I got a quick assignment for you.
Okay.
And this goes for anybody that is in a similar situation. If you do not know our vendors, I would love for you just to call them and introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm Alicia. I'm new to the office. I hear you're one of the best lenders in town. I just wanted to get the opportunity to meet you. Right?
Got it.
Tell me a little bit about the way that you run your business. Right?
Okay.
And that literally that could be a 5 to 10 minute phone call, and you'll get one more person on that's an ally for your business that is going to support you when necessary, that's going to help you clean up a mess if necessary, that's going to be somebody that can answer financial questions for you if necessary, right? So just take a minute if you don't know. I know it was probably you were in a hurry back a few days ago or whatever, but if you get a couple minutes of downtime today, just poke her and say, hey, I'd like to chat with you for a second. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Anyone else? Maybe not 20, but did anyone else get some good results from their calls this last few days?
I didn't have good results from a call, but I'm selling my neighbor's house, and so my neighbors and I mostly don't speak, just because it's a weird neighborhood. But a woman was walking down the street, and I was fixing my sign, and she said, you sold Charles's house for top dollar. I can't believe you did that. And so we started talking, and she was like, well, Nancy, 4 doors down, she wants to sell her house. So I'm going to send Nancy a card and introduce myself. She's a neighbor of mine. I don't know her.
So ask for a 3-way email introduction or a 3-way text introduction.
Oh, from Celeste. Okay.
Right, from the middle person. So it's not cold when you email her, write her a card.
Okay.
Right. Have her say, hey, this is our neighbor, Heather, she sold Joe Blow's home for top dollar. I want you to meet her.
Okay.
Hey, person that wants to sell your house, or hey, Heather, this person, our neighbor, right, wants to move to Detroit. She could really use a realtor like you,
Okay.
right? Get the other person to slam dunk it for you.
Gotcha. Okay.
You got to teach people how to refer you.
Well, I've only just met Celeste. I've seen her for the last 4 years I lived here, but we only had our first
She's
conversation.
impressed with you.
True.
She already likes you.
True.
You're her favorite person because you sold the neighbor's house for the top dollar.
And she told me, she was like, you got our neighborhood jumped back up into the price bracket with that, the way you priced his house. So she was
Right.
told
Hey,
that.
you like steak? All right. Every referral you get, we go on a steak.
Okay.
Whatever you want to eat, I'll take you there.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
You're going to be my new best friend.
I sure am. She knows the whole neighborhood apparently.
Oh, that's the best kind.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. She knew everybody. Mm-hmm.
Say, Celeste, what would have to happen for me to be the realtor that you recommend every single time that you hear about an opportunity?
That's a good question. I also told her, because she said she was looking to get some work done on her house. And I was like, I have a vendor list that I use all the time and they're tried and true and whoever you need. And she was like, I'm going to knock on your door. So I think I have a new BFF.
Good. Ask him that question. What would have to happen for me to be the realtor that you recommend every time you hear about an opportunity?
Okay.
And just wait for the leads to start flowing in.
And it looks good because there are a few homes in my neighborhood that have been on sale since like last summer or even November. And she's like, they're just sitting on the market and you just came in here and like got it sold in a couple of days. And
man, you got a reputation now. This is good.
I know. I'm so excited.
Better hope she doesn't ask you how many calls you make a day.
I will tell a small little white lie.
Just kidding.
No, you don't.
Because starting today, it's 20.
Today is 20.
I've had a few conversations via phone and email with somebody who's it's a Keller Williams agent who is moving to Atlanta from Virginia and wants me to help him find a house here. But, of course, now he's waiting for all this COVID stuff to be over before they move. Hoping he'll come to our market center. Of course, he's already, been sponsored and everything. But he's going to be, when they do come down, he's going to be, talking to various market centers to see where he wants to live, but they're wanting to move into the Alpharetta area. So I figure it's probably going to be between us and North Atlanta.
I tell you, I don't care if they're going to name me as a sponsor or not. The more people in our building, the more influence we're going to have, the more deals are going to close, the more FMLS dollars are going to show up, the more people we can network with from future opportunities. Sponsorship comes when it comes. Sponsorship comes as a result of you just having a bunch of relationships.
Right. And that's how I got this, that's how I was introduced to this person, is somebody who used to be team leader over at Chattahoochee North and then went to England, to London to open it up, Mike Coffey.
Oh, yeah, Mike.
Yeah, he referred me to this guy. I helped Mike and his wife when they were moving back to Atlanta. I helped them find a rental.
Yeah, that was like a $4,000 or $5,000 a month rental, wasn't it?
$7.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
please, no one be afraid to do a rental deal, for crying out loud. This guy owns a couple of market centers. He is involved in KW in Europe. He is a major player in Metro Atlanta. Just help people out. I remember when Denise was trying to find somebody for that, to work that. And it took her a while. Nobody wanted to do it. And you stood up and you're like, I'll do it. Look at you now.
Right. And you just, and I helped him out some, like if he was out of town, because he does travel a lot around KW and go to Texas a lot and, stuff. And so I would help him out occasionally. And he was always very generous in payment to me.
Yeah.
Very generous. So, and
I want to share a stat with you. So don't forget that we're going to do the big session today at 2. So everyone's invited to that. and then we'll do coffee for half an hour right after that, 3 to 3:30. And then I'm going to hop on the leadership call in a couple minutes. I'll leave this room open. And you guys can do some script practice and role play if you'd like. And then I'll be back right around 9:30, and I'll leave the room open and we can make calls on our own, and then cheer each other on through the chat thing. I think I've shared this stat with you before, but the data has been updated a little bit. There's something called T2, training tracker at our market center. So we track, obviously we're essentially a technology / data company now. And so we obviously track a bunch of stuff. So we know when an agent, quote, goes to training, we consider somebody that goes to training, somebody that goes to at least 2 training events per month, okay? So like a training class where you hop on the Zoom call in this type of situation. So we compare the production of those that go to training versus those that do not go to training. Again, two courses a month, okay? 2 classes a month. Those that go to training, and you guys, I have no doubt, would be in that training group. But just to give you an idea, those that go to at least 2 training classes a month have gross commission income of over 63% higher, 63.77% higher if you do go to 2 training events per month. Volume is up 87 and change %. And number of units is up 78%. So if you're speaking to somebody in the market center that is not where they want to be, or you perhaps are not where you want to be, and you're not coming to enough training events, plug in, because these are some serious numbers here, right? All you got to do to raise your GCI is to plug into training, and those that do, almost 64% higher income, right? Amazing.
I will say, I think you have to do more than come to training. You also have to implement.
Of course. You know, Aubrey says, I'm going to butcher the delivery, but he says, training without implementation is entertainment, something of that nature, right? So if you just sit in the room and you don't take notes or you don't implement anything into your business, then it's essentially as if you just took the day off, right? The purpose of training is to go get more value out of that hour or that 2 hours than you would if you were on the telephone hunting down buyers and hunting down sellers. Okay.
Hey, Bill.
Sorry, Jen, go ahead.
Did you know that they're getting ready to do a digital bold?
Yes. Bold, I will post the link in our announcements page. I think it starts on May 4th or May 5th. It's I think it's 4 weeks, 2 hours, twice a week, something like that. I have to, you'll see it in the message. And instead of it being $799, it's $99. $99. And don't quote me on anything, but
That's steal.
Yeah. Don't quote me on anything, but I'm pushing hard. Maybe I shouldn't even say this out loud, but I'm pushing hard for the market center to cover it, or to cover a good chunk of it. So you guys, that is like, you know, it's obviously going to be a bit of a different experience, but that is a no-brainer in my opinion. That is a no-brainer.
I can say that I took Bold last year. I think I was in the business for like 3 months. And at the time, I felt like this is such a waste of time because I don't have, you know, the database or the sphere or any of that. After Bold, I started realizing how many nuggets I applied to my business when I got the sphere and all that stuff.
It's not about, thank you for that. It is simply a course to help you build habits. That's simply all it is. It's a conditioning course. Because
if I didn't have those like nuggets, I wouldn't have known how to handle certain situations in my own business.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also about building mindset.
Right.
It's like, and even little things like just say what you want to say and be quiet. I did that for the first time after sitting in my very first first session of my first bold, and I did that, and I ended up getting signatures on paperwork that I got paid around $10,000 for. That pretty much paid for bold for the rest of my career, right? Especially at $99 a pop. So I'll send some more information about that. I'll keep the room open. If anyone would like to, kind of talk a little bit about some scripts and some dialogues, that'd be awesome. The room is yours. I will mute myself and I'll be back in about half an hour.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to ask you a question.